Okay. Good morning, everyone. Apologies, I'm my moderator. I think is coming, so bear with me as I launch this on my own. I am recording it, and please make use of the chat. If you have any questions, of course, if I see them, I'll answer them. If I don't, I will be scraping the chat at the end and answering everything. If not at the end, certainly by email or through Yammer. Okay, let's see here. Okay, just a little bit about me. If you've never attended a webinar with me before, pictured here are my husband Stephen, my daughter Julia, our cats. I like to run, read, and review nonfiction books, travel, and track and plan anything and everything. So please feel free to connect with me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Viva Engaged. That would be great. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, so I will not be providing medical advice. Instead, I'll offer general tips, so please consult your primary care doctor before making significant changes to your diet. I am a big believer in planning for success, and the adage, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, often rings very true when you're trying to eat healthfully. And meal prep and planning is one of the most underutilized strategies for healthy eating. Beyond the health benefits of meal prep, maybe I can entice you with the benefits after just 1 week of doing it. Most people rave about how it's changed everything for them by feeling more accomplished after a meal prep session, the time saved, feeling less stressed or hectic come mealtime, saving money through buying in bulk, wasting less, and of course, ordering less takeout. And once you learn how to prepare meals easily, healthily, and conveniently, you'll wonder why you waited so long to incorporate this routine. All right, so let's jump right into what goals meal planning and prepping can address. The idea is to provide good nutrition, right? Since you're making the meals, you can control the nutrient dense ingredients, seasonings, salt, sugar, calories. You can stay within a budget. So eating food that you have prepared at home is cheaper than, of course, purchasing from a restaurant. You can prepare satisfying, tasteful, appealing meals. So if you're trying to eat healthier, meal prepping ensures you always have options that fit in your dietary needs because you've planned and you have something easy to grab from the fridge. And of course, this makes sticking to your healthy eating significantly easier and with fewer temptations. You control the amount of time and energy that you spend planning or prepping beforehand, which leads to the save time later on. Successful menu planning principles, they include variety, balance, nutrition, and flexibility. And we'll be weaving these principles throughout the presentation today. Okay, tell me in the chat, what factors affect what you buy to prepare meals for you and your family? Personally, I think I'm influenced most by my cooking skills. I stick to simple meals that don't require recipes or long list of ingredients. Of course, I have a repertoire of meals that I run through on the regular. I'm not a foodie. Also, I get bulk meat delivered from a farm with the various types and cuts. So I think this influences obviously what I make. All right, so what you can buy and prepare is typically affected by your income, your budget, your shopping skills, your cooking skills, how much time do you have, maybe utilizing pre-cut, semi-ready to be cooked items, food preferences, of course, and personal values. Today, as we talk about different tips and tricks, think about how you can personalize them based on your likes, dislikes, availability of items, etc. Okay, factors affecting your food needs. So we're not all the same. I took a very interesting class on life cycle nutrition that evaluated the changes in nutritional needs from infancy, child, teenager, young adult, senior citizen. And if you're cooking for a multi-generational family, you want to pay particular attention to ensuring variety and addressing the specific needs of individuals. Simple example, I remember when I first got married and I realized that my husband ate twice the amount that I did. And if I didn't want him snacking on junk food, I would have to make enough to satisfy his greater than mine nutritional needs. So let's talk about what influences you. So age, are you providing correct portions for your toddler versus your teenager? Size and height. So a person that's 5'2" does not have the exact same requirements as someone who is 6'2". Gender, we have differing needs. Activity level, so sedentary, have fewer calorie needs versus someone who's very active. Health issues, so chronic illnesses or diseases benefit from addressing certain nutrient deficiencies or requirements. As you meal plan, just remember to keep these all in mind. All right, so ask your family, housemates, roommates, if they would mind a meal of all shades of white and yellow. So here I have pictured fish, rice, bread, pear, cheese. I'm not saying that this would be optimal, obviously from a nutrient dense, perspective. But this can be an interesting conversation with your family or your roommates. Are they affected by colors, textures, flavors, shapes, and temperature? Yes, they are. I mean, you want to create meals that are nutritious and appealing. So here are some considerations. Color. So colorful fruits and vegetables, they brighten a meal. You want to not have dinner be all the same color. You can add variety with vegetables in different sizes and shapes. They can be cut into sticks, diced, wedges. Do your meals have complementing flavors? So are there varying flavors to keep the taste buds interested and not overwhelmed? Try adding spices, herbs, seasoning blends to ensure the food is not too bland. One mistake I made is I got this great new spice blend and I used it basically on everything, the chicken, the roast vegetables, even sprinkle on the salad. And guess what? Everything tasted the exact same. It was not good. So make sure you have variety in your flavors. Temperature. So is everything hot or is there some variety? For example, a cold lettuce salad, a hot roasted chicken, and room temperature carrots and celery. Also, the outside temperature, summer versus winter, influences what food temperature people enjoy. How food is prepared affects how it feels when you chew it. So add crunch with raw vegetables. Again, you don't want everything in the meal to have the same consistency. So like having a stew with a mashed butternut squash, probably not. But instead, you could have crisp roasted Brussels sprouts. So change it up. All right, let's talk about preparation, the actual preparation and steps involved. There are 6 steps. So step 1 is to decide when to have a planning session. You want to commit to around 30 minutes each week that you will dedicate to making your plan. And ideally, it will be on the same day each week. Saturday and Sunday are popular days to plan. And the more you practice you have at this part, the more preparation you do is outlined in the following steps, the less time it will take. One avid meal prepper that I know sits down with her husband every Sunday. They go over their schedules, the events, traveling, and then based on this, she knows what days she'll be cooking for and can move forward with a menu, what items she needs to buy, and then make ahead dishes or batch cooking she will do on that Sunday. Collect meal ideas. So maybe you subscribe to a food magazine. You can tear out recipes of interest and have them in a folder or notebook. You can peruse your cookbooks and flag some oldies but goodie recipes that you haven't had in a while. Look on Pinterest or elsewhere on the internet for inspiration. What seasonal ingredients are available? This is a seasonal produce guide here. What items are on sale at your grocery store? Check your inventory. So what ingredients do you already have in your refrigerator or pantry that you want to use? And of course, you can ask your family and roommates for suggestions. Step 3, a work in progress shopping list. So as you run out of ingredients, write them down on a list. This may seem silly or straightforward, but having a pad of paper on your refrigerator is beneficial to adding items as you need them. I love having this working list on my fridge that anyone can add to. Alternatively, you can use an app like AnyList, which you can share with your older children, your partner, and they can add items. And I do know someone that uses this with her teenagers and husband, and it works really well. Menu template. So you can display your weekly dinner menu on a sheet of paper. Download this one I found and modified from Microsoft Word templates. Hang it up in your kitchen so everyone can see and avoid having to ask, what's for dinner? Even if you're only planning just for one person, yourself, this weekly menu can serve as a reminder of what you promised you would make that evening or the next day. It reinforces the variety of meals instead of the same thing day after day. It's also a reminder to thaw foods as you need them, or to get the slow cooker going. You can also use it for a shopping list and suggestions from family members. Again, developing a new habit takes time, but eventually you'll get the hang of remembering to check in so your plan runs smoothly. The weekly planner template link is at the bottom here if you want to try it. Okay, now decide what days to meal prep. So before you begin, decide on which day you'll be meal prepping. Some people do it once a week, like Saturday or Sunday, or do 2 mini preps. So I'm going to prepare stuff ahead of time on Sunday and then again on Wednesday. You might want to have your planning session on Saturday, then grocery shop on Sunday, and meal prep on Sunday afternoon. See what works best for you. We typically go to the grocery store on Saturday morning, farmer's market on Sunday, and then I usually I menu plan on Friday nights, and then I do batch cooking on Saturday and Sunday afternoon. So your plan is going to be unique to you and what works. Step 6. So chances are you probably already have some containers at home, and maybe images of mismatched storage and takeout containers are coming to mind. And if you have a bunch of random containers in your kitchen, this is what I think you should do. So take out all of those containers and lay them out on the countertop or table. And then sort out and set aside the ones that have the properly sealing lids. And then you can cross-check against this list of recommended containers. And again, you may want to start with just what you have before purchasing anything. So maybe see how it goes for a week or two. And if you don't have much in the way of storage containers, you can at least, or should maybe think about getting at least a 1-quart glass container to start with, and like resealable bags. Designate a specific spot in your kitchen for the weekly prep containers so you know where they are. And of course, you can donate those extra or unneeded containers that you found. Whether you want to lose weight, build muscle, maintain weight, you should prioritize using the proper containers to help you meet your goals. So containers can especially assist with ensuring consistent and appropriate portion sizes. Portion sizing, for whatever reason, is one of those elusive concepts that people think they have a good grasp of. However, most people tend to pay more attention to the amount of food they eat. They need to pay more attention. They need to pay more attention to what they eat in one sitting. They just tend to eat everything off their plate. So this is cautionary for batch cooking, because if you make a huge batch of something and store it in one large container, and you're more prone to eat everything that is available, then you might instead want to divide it up into single serving portions using these containers. Again, the goal is to have containers that'll be fit for your purpose. And I do get asked this quite a bit on glass versus plastic. They definitely serve different purposes. The glass containers should be used for hot foods. They're safe for reheating meals, easy to clean. They don't retain food odors and stains. Versus the plastic containers, they can be reserved for cold food. They're affordable, portable, and suitable for meals that don't need to be reheated. So, for example, salads. Just make sure that they are BPA free and never reheat in the microwave. Also, if you appreciate an organizational tip, here's one. Stackable or similarly shaped containers will help optimize your space in your refrigerator, freezer, or work bag. So, for example, getting all rectangles or all square shaped or all round. All right, let me share with you a success story of how meal prepping works for BJ Fogg. He's the founder of the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford University and author of Tiny Habits, which I highly recommend. And I do have a book review on LinkedIn if you're interested. He devised a solution to lose and maintain a healthy weight called Super Fridge. And he states that when he opens his fridge, he sees a bunch of glass containers filled with food ready to eat, The broccoli's in one container, already washed and cut up. The same with cauliflower, celery, peppers, onions. There's a container with cooked quinoa. He sees fresh fruit and boiled eggs ready for a quick snack. He also has plain full fat yogurt, various sprouts, and condiments like mustard. Now, the refrigerator contains and showcases only healthy eating options, and he can eat as much as he wants, whenever he wants, from the fridge. The key, only food supporting his eating plan is in the refrigerator. And each week, he and his partner, they invest time shopping and preparing to set up this super fridge. So there's no temptations, no decision fatigue, or no need for willpower. So throughout the week, they eat all the healthy food that they've prepared, and they don't let anything go to waste. And thanks in part to the super fridge, they've each lost more than 15% of their body weight and stayed at their ideal weight for years. So the whole process, even keeping the weight off, has felt easy for them. So this is just one way meal planning and prepping healthy options can work for you and your family. Again, Tiny Habits, great book. Okay, having your planning session. Planning meals ahead of time can help you stick to healthy choices. So you want to use these tips to create a plan that works for you. As I mentioned, it's essential to set aside time. You want to commit this 30 minutes around planning, dedicated, and the more you practice planning, the less time it'll take. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is take inventory. Look in your freezer, your cabinets, refrigerator, check expiration dates. Keep a work in progress shopping list for the items you need to replenish or are getting low on. Again, that's that pad of paper or the AnyList app. Get inspired. So review those meal ideas that you collected from the food magazines, cookbooks, Pinterest, websites, seasonal ingredients, the advertisements from the grocery store, and family favorites. Consider preferences. So as you plan meals, does your family have a particular cuisine that they enjoy? What equipment do you have and intend to use? Who will be cooking? How can you leverage meal prep? How can you batch cook maybe breakfast and lunch options? Do you have special dietary conditions to keep in mind, like low carb, low sugar, celiac? Okay, ensure variety. So rotate proteins like chicken, beef, seafood, pork, lamb, tofu, etc. This is probably my biggest struggle is to ensure that my family gets all the protein and nutrients they need. I could probably eat the same thing every day, all day, but my family does not feel the same. So variety is key to ensure that you're getting all the nutrients you need. So just be sure to rotate the primary protein source of the meal. Fresh first. So plan meals that use fresh fish or vegetables that are ripe or spoil quickly for the beginning of your week. Map out your meals. So be sure you have the breakfast and lunch options for the week. This can be as detailed or general as it suits your needs. Write out your meals for dinner and post this for the entire household to see. This is the menu template that I mentioned previously. Make a grocery list. So write out the ingredients for the meals that you plan to make, cross out the items that you already have, add the things that you need to your work in progress or shopping list or the AnyList app. And think about your schedule. So are there no nights that you won't be home for dinner? Prepare meals and sides for the weekends when, or on the weekends when you have more time. Can you cut up vegetables, maybe cook an entire dinner to be used later, or batch cook items like hard-boiled eggs, roasted chickpeas, egg frittatas, soup, meatballs, roasted chicken. You can also double a recipe and use the leftovers for lunches and dinners later in the week. And that brings me to leftovers. So repurpose those leftovers. You can make them part of your plan, and that could save you time and money. If you don't prefer eating the same thing more than once, you can freeze the leftovers for another time or get creative and make something completely new with them. For example, whole chicken can be used for chicken salad, stir fry, soup, tacos. A client purposely makes bigger dinners so she and her husband can count on the leftovers for lunch the next day. And her children don't like leftovers, so they create their own salad sandwiches, carrot stick, yogurt, etc. For lunch. I like this one. End of the week, to be determined night. This can be a night to use leftovers. You can use the batch cook items that you have left over, or maybe using a previously bumped meal from an early day. in the week or a chance to go out or get takeout. Breakfast and lunch planning. So batch cooking egg muffins that can be reheated, having fruit on hand, yogurt, hard-boiled eggs, lunch meat, cut up vegetables, hummus, salad components. All these can be used throughout the week with little effort. Just be sure that you have these items well stocked for the entire week. Try meal kits. So again, I'm not sure this is available in your country, but a meal kit service delivers all the ingredients with simple instructions to make healthy meals at home, so you don't have to worry about the groceries and your meals are already planned. I think you can even buy Heat and Eat meal services as well. It may help with portion control as everything's measured for a specific number of servings. I haven't tried it personally, but I do know people who enjoy the convenience and the healthy options. The one person I know gets 3 meals per week, and then basically she uses them when she needs to on very busy days during the week, and sees this as a solution to make it less stressful. I've also seen these meal kits show up in the grocery stores where everything is like kind of bundled together for one meal that you can, it's convenient, but you don't have to commit to a whole subscription. Okay, so the planning session is completed. It's time to go shopping. And here are some tips to consider. You've heard this. Shop on a full stomach. You'll be less likely to deviate from sticking to your list. And of course, that brings me to this amazing list that you have. We all have gone to the grocery store and fill our carts with tons of food, only at home and realize that we can't make one decent meal from what we have. So the key is to stick to the list, the one on paper or on that app. And I think I've said this now at least 3 times. So, it's a big tip. It's essential. And at the end of the presentation, we can talk about the top 10 things that you buy every week. So start thinking about this. These 10 things are automatically already on the list each week. All right, don't get distracted by food packaging with buzzwords like fat-free or gluten-free. They don't automatically make these foods healthy. You've probably heard this term before, the health halo. It's a term given to foods perceived as healthy solely because of these claims. And it can be a problem when you overbuy and overeat these foods. Consider organic. So when buying produce, getting everything organic probably is a little unrealistic, at least here in Washington, D.C. So I recommend looking at the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen list. It's updated annually as a guide, and it shows which conventional produce here contains the highest amounts of synthetic pesticide residue, which is not used in organic farming. The most recent list of fruits and vegetables you can see here with the highest pesticides: strawberry, spinach, kale, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, etc. So for these, you would want to consider buying organic. All right. Read nutrition facts, labels, and ingredient lists. The more whole food, unprocessed based eating you can do, the better. But you must look at the label for any food you buy in a package, box, or can. And once you do this for the foods that you buy regularly, it will be much less daunting. So you want to keep in mind 2 things. First is to focus on the first 2 or 3 ingredients listed. If you see wholesome ingredients that you would use in a healthy recipe, you're on the right track. These ingredients used in the most significant amounts are listed first, right? So followed by those in smaller quantities in descending order. So the shorter the ingredient list, the better. And then secondly, note that the manufacturers can be sneaky and hide sugar in the ingredient list by using a different source to add sweetness. So there are many other names, including corn syrup, dextrin, honey, molasses, etc. You can see them all here. It's best to avoid foods that have sugar in the top 5 ingredients or at all. Okay, serving size. So don't overlook this important information at the top of the label. Everything else is related to this number. So if the serving size is 1/4 cup or 30 grams, but you mindlessly eat half a cup or 60 grams, that's twice the serving size. So you need to double the amount of fats, calories, sodium, carbs, etc. Okay, you might be asking, how do I actually meal prep? So once you determine your needs, meal prepping may be for health reasons, saving money, saving time, losing weight, etc. This will help you narrow down what to make. The prepping is looking at what you can do ahead of time to make the menu for the week go smoothly. So we are all choosing various recipes and methods, is about finding what works for you. Even if you're only planning out a menu like Monday through Thursday, see where you can optimize the menu and get ahead in preparing for those meals, or how you can use the leftovers. Or if you are tackling one meal, like prepping breakfast options for the week, you can hard boil a dozen eggs, purchase Greek yogurt, have frozen mixed berries on hand, or prepare a big batch of steel cut oatmeal and portion it into individual servings to which family members can then add fruit or whatever they want. Again, look at fresh meals planned for the week and see what you can chop, cook, or batch cook in advance to save you time later on. Maybe you batch cook a tray of roasted vegetables, so this is already made and on hand. Or maybe you want a roasted chicken so it can be used for tacos on Tuesday night and leftovers in a salad for lunch. One client, now an empty nester, she menu plans on the weekend for dinners, Monday through Friday. Typically, she grocery shops on Sunday night and uses the fish and vegetables that will spoil quickest at the beginning of the week. Her refrigerator is stocked with salad and sandwich options for lunches, along with utilizing any leftovers. Another client does not plan a weekly menu. She has a monthly meat delivery service and keeps a separate, like, well-stocked freezer full of protein options. And she likes to pull something out the night before and let it thaw in the refrigerator. However, she does not. She does do batch cooking for breakfast, like egg muffins, and she has leftovers and sandwich meats for lunches. So your prep time will be unique to you and evolve into what you feel comfortable with, what works best for you, and methods you choose. So hopefully today you're just getting good ideas of things to try. All right, some considerations. If you're looking to stay within a budget, here are some tips. You want to avoid purchasing items in bulk that might go bad and can't be frozen. You want to use what you have, eat from the pantry, freeze unused fruit to combine with yogurt or to have as a snack. You can buy it. You also can buy frozen fruit, of course, which might be cheaper, or purchase a seasonal fruit and freeze what you don't eat before it goes bad. Limit more expensive organic purchases to the Environmental Working Group's 30 dozen list. And then, of course, shop sales and use coupons, and then shop seasonal produce. All right, some basics. Now, this, you need to decide what you should have on hand to make the meal planning and prepping easier. I'm just listing what works for me. So your basics might be tailored to your culture, cuisine, likes, dislikes. The point is to stock up on the items that you use all the time. So in the pantry, make sure I have these items available and well stocked. Definitely a ton of seasonings to use, some baking ingredients. Let me give you another example of a success story. This is a recipe developer, food writer, Christine. Her biggest revelation with meal prep was all about having a well-stocked fridge, freezer, and pantry. Her list of things to always have on hand: eggs, bread, cheese, rolled oats, canned beans, salad greens, frozen vegetables, peanut butter, some fruit. These can be easily combined with other meal prep staples for various meals. And also, in a pinch, she can make a decent breakfast, lunch, or dinner out of these things if she has to, which then takes the pressure off of meal prep. And just a note about stocking up on meat and vegetables. You may have heard of or tried delivery or subscription service. So a community-supported agriculture model is a system that connects the farmer and consumers in a subscription service for produce, meats, dairy, and you can pick it up in your community regularly, or even most now delivered to your door. The money they pay up front supports the harvest of that farm for the entire season. And you can Google to see what options are in your area. The advantages: you're supporting local, the food is fresh, it's usually cost effective. You'll be exposed to options that you've never tried, so that can be exciting in expanding your palate and skills as a cook. The disadvantage: you are limited to that farm and its limitations and offerings. You might not like everything that you get each week. You usually pay up front, and there's no refund for missed weeks. And you might not enjoy not knowing exactly what you'll get, right? That's like the hardcore meal planner might not enjoy that. For meat delivery services, It can be a very convenient and easy way to stock your freezer. It's also a chance to support local farmers who prioritize sustainability and animal welfare. So you know where it is sourced, how it's raised. Often they invite you to the farm to see everything. It's usually fresh and of higher quality. You might be exposed to items not found in your local grocery store, and they may offer to portion it into different serving sizes for you. Now, limitations, you are limited to a specific farm usually or a group of farms. So just be sure to find a service that offers flexibility, regenerative farming, and minimal shopping waste or shipping waste. Sorry. For example, my service has a reusable drop-off bag and a reusable dry ice bag so that there's no waste. So, all right, you can also buy excellent produce and protein options at local farmers markets and nearby farms. It's all about the quality, convenience, and having it on hand. All right, let's talk about safety. So food safety is an important yet overlooked component of meal prepping. Cooking, storing, reheating foods at the right temperature can prevent food poisoning, which here I found this statistic shocking. In America, 9.4 million Americans yearly have food poisoning. So you want to be mindful of proper temperatures. So make sure your refrigerator is kept at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 degrees Celsius or below, and your freezer is 0 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 18 degrees Celsius or below. You want to cool foods quickly, so always refrigerate fresh foods and meals within 2 hours of purchase or cooking. And if you need to cool something quickly, a large batch of whatever, you can spread the cooked food in like a shallow container and immediately place them in your refrigerator on top of like freezer packs. I've done that before. It works really well. Keep the storage times in mind. So cooked fresh meat and poultry and fish, you want to use within 2 days of purchase, and red meat within 3 to 5 days. In the meantime, keep them on the bottom shelf of your refrigerator so you don't want any accidental meat drippings to get on other food items in the fridge. You want to cook to the proper temperature. So meat, poultry, seafood should be cooked to a safe minimum internal temperature, as this kills most bacteria. And of course, here listed I have the different temperatures from the FDA. Make sure you thaw foods safely. So I don't know about you, but I was growing up, my mother always thawed everything on the countertop, and somehow we survived. But you really should thaw frozen foods or meals in your refrigerator overnight instead of the countertop. And for faster thawing, you can submerge food stored in a baggie and then put it in cold tap water. Change out the water every 30 minutes. Also keep the foods being thawed at the bottom of the refrigerator. This can help prevent illness in case raw juices from the meat or fish start dripping. And if you're thawing a frozen, already cooked meal, you can thaw it on any shelf in the fridge overnight because it's already cooked. Reheat foods only once and to the right temperature. So the more you cool and reheat food, the higher the risk of food poisoning. And that's why defrosted foods should only be reheated once. Okay, so all meals should be reheated to a certain temperature, 165 or Fahrenheit 75 Celsius before eating. Frozen meals can be reheated and eaten within 24 hours of defrosting. And once the food is thawed correctly, it can be reheated in a microwave, saucepan on the stove, or in the oven. Use labels. So remember to label and date your containers to consume the foods within the food safe period. So refrigerate leftover meals should be consumed within 3 to 4 days, and frozen meals within 3 to 6 months. Okay, and you can take a closer look at these Food and Drug Administration recommendations. All right, get started. So I highly recommend you begin small. Maybe start with just dinners Monday through Thursday, or just focus on batch cooking a few things, soups or vegetables for lunches during the week. Keep it low key. Keep it simple. So while variety is the spice of life, and you will build that in over time, initially it's more important to just keep the meal prep manageable so that you're more likely to stick with it. Make a list, check it twice. The most surprising meal prep help is a grocery list, so write it down beforehand. Remember to include items like the spices, the marinades, any prep tools that you might need, like parchment paper or a big baking sheet. Make cleanup a breeze while meal prepping, so don't let this be your barrier to entry. You can simplify the prep and cleanup process with big freezer bags or using tin foil, cooking spray. You can toss ingredients into a bag with seasonings or marinade to coat them quickly and evenly. You can use tin foil to line your pan so that cleanup is quicker. Also, if while you're prepping, you should wash the dishes as you go so it doesn't get to be this overwhelming, big, huge mess at the end. Practice those knife skills. So chop ingredients into similarly sized pieces in advance so that they all cook evenly. We talked about frozen is fine. Frozen fruits, vegetables, they're as nutritious as the fresh versions. Plus, they last a lot longer. So fruits and vegetables with a low water content freeze well. So you can always chop and create your own blends identical to the store brands. You toss a mixture of broccoli, cauliflower, carrots into a freezer bag. Press all the air out and throw it in the freezer, and you're ready for the next meal prep. Organize your fridge, freezer, and pantry. So every week, clean out those spills, check the use by dates to prevent food from spoiling and being tossed. You want to organize your freezer every few weeks so you know what's inside. You want to always eat the older foods first. And then once a month, organize your pantry. So line up those dried goods so you can use the items soonest with the use by dates, that those are in the front. This will also help you see what's in your pantry. So you don't buy ingredients that you already have. Choose whole foods over processed. These will provide you with the nutrients your body needs to stay healthy. Support local. So visit your nearest farmer's market or farm and find out how you can support those in your area. Think variety. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you should ensure that you're changing up the foods that you eat to cover all your nutrients based for vitamins and minerals. All right. Let's say you want to experiment. So what can you try? Well, for some, it's the make ahead meals. They are complete meals cooked in advance, which then can be refrigerated and reheated at meal times. This is particularly handy for dinner time meals like soups, stews, casseroles. You can try batch cooking. So make large batches of a specific recipe, then eat it throughout the week, or freeze and eat it over the next few months. This makes for popular warm lunch or dinner options. Individually portioned meals. So preparing fresh meals and portioning them into individual grab-and-go portions to be refrigerated and eaten over the next few days. So this is particularly handy for a quick lunch. And then ready-to-cook ingredients. So maybe you just prepare all the ingredients required for a specific meal ahead of time, and it's an excellent way to cut down on the cooking time in the kitchen. So everything's chopped, measured, ready to cook. So you could throw a roast and cut up vegetables in a storage bag with a marinade, and then put it in the slow cooker like later in the week. Here are some resources to try to help you out. Sorry, I was just seeing if I could mute everyone. Okay. Now, sample planning session. Again, the method that will work best for you depends on your goals and daily routine. Let's just walk through an example here. Here's the meal planning template. First, let me share considerations that will be shaping my meal plan. So I've checked my refrigerator and I have red peppers that are overripe and need to be used ASAP. I checked my refrigerator. Two things that my family loves and that are popular: pumpkin and delicata squash. Third, I have celiac disease, so I do not buy or make anything with gluten in it. And as you'll see in a minute, I don't plan for every single meal, so I do like to batch cook items on the weekend to have food on hand for breakfasts and lunches. So some of those things are boiled eggs, homemade Greek yogurt, roasted chickpeas, gluten-free pumpkin bread, pumpkin meatballs, egg and veggie muffins. Okay, so here you'll see I list Greek yogurt, berries, almonds, then egg veggie muffin. These are just breakfast items on hand. For lunch, everyone is on their own to make a salad, have leftovers, or eat items that are batch cooked and ready to eat. And then for dinner, the plan is to provide variety and enough for at least one leftover meal to be eaten as lunch the next day. Sometimes there are leftovers, sometimes there aren't. The first meal here is scallops and using up those red peppers. Then pumpkin meatballs. This recipe I featured in one of my nutrition tips newsletter. It's very yummy. I recommend you try it. Chicken and roasted sweet potatoes. And note, I'm not listing every single thing that will be eaten at the meal. I usually, again, have several roasted vegetables from frozen, so they're quick and easy, and I always have them on hand, like cauliflower, broccoli, onions, Brussels sprouts, etc. Salmon. Note, I'm trying to have seafood at least twice a week. Steak, delicata squash, and cornbread. The last time I made the cornbread, I added a can of pumpkin to the cornbread, which was very good. TBD. This could be eating out or takeout. If we eat at home, I am pushing to finish all the leftovers and anything left from batch cooking before making anything additional. For good or bad, I cook a lot less on the weekends as I feel like meal planning, prepping, the batch cooking, grocery shopping, all of that is enough time spent on food. So these meals will shape the shopping list, which includes the top 10 items we always get: milk, eggs, lettuce, onions. More on this in a second. And in addition to anything I need for the meals or batch cooking. So yeah, and you can see my husband loves pumpkin bread, so you see that under the family suggestion. All right. You may have noticed that I didn't mention much prepping. I don't cut up my vegetables for the week on Sundays. I don't make full meals and freeze them and use them later in the week. But some people do that, and it works for them. That's why I think, if you're interested, you definitely should check out the resources or Google it. There's plenty of great ideas out there. I'm personally hooked on batch cooking and making bigger meals to have leftovers, and I'm a big believer in the menu planning. So figure out what works best for you and then go from there. All right, top favorites. So it's time to share with each other. Let's get some good ideas flowing here. What are the top 10 things that you buy every week? So take a minute to think about this and add what you buy to the chat, what you frequently buy. You can provide some ideas to others. My husband and I typically shop together. However, on occasion, he's gone by himself and he knows to come home with at least these top 10 staples, right? So whatever that might be, avocados, onions, lettuce varieties, eggs, whatever protein might be on sale, or apples, seltzer water. You tell me, what are those top 10 favorite things? Next, I recommend that you think about your top 5 favorite meals, right? Because this is something that you definitely can easily incorporate. Maybe when you start your menu planning, that these are your go-to meals that you want to include. So maybe it's an egg bake, maybe it's roasted chicken, maybe it's chili or seafood stir fry, meatballs with spaghetti squash, sausage, slow cooked roast beef, baked salmon, pork tenderloin, tofu scramble. Okay. Think about what those family favorites are. And then what are your family's favorite treats? So if like chocolate covered almonds, dried cranberries, and mangoes, just be careful of the high sugar content of dried fruits. Maybe mixed nuts. Again, portion out those nuts. 1/4 of a cup is 1 serving. Berries, cantaloupe, maybe it's dark chocolate chips. Okay. And then I want you to tell me, and I'm going to pull up the chat so I can actually start scanning this, how maybe you already meal plan, menu plan, maybe you meal prep. Tell me, how do you meal plan for the week? How do you do it? What works for you? What maybe can you share that others can take away with? All right, let me see if I can bring up the chat here. There, let's see. Okay. Again, I apologize if you missed it in the beginning. I'm without a moderator, so I'm feeling like I'm not. What's hard for me to pay attention to? Okay. There we go. Chat. All right. Let's see here. Oh, kefir. That's a good one. Kombucha, sauerkraut, less variety. Yep. Okay, good. Some good ideas. Yes, I am recording this, I believe, and I will share. I always have concerns about batch cooking, the loss of vitamins, and the possibility of having oh, the preparation beyond 3 days. Yes, I agree. Some things like tomatoes, when they're cooked, you actually are getting a variety of different nutrients that are released by the cooking. So I would say again, it kind of goes back to variety. If you have sometimes cooked, sometimes raw. Um, I also am a little leery about going beyond 3 days, depending on what it is, in the meat department. But for batch cooking like vegetables, I think they can easily last usually 5 days without any issue. Okay, I do want to leave time for everybody to go get ready for their 9 o'clock meetings. But I hope this presentation has been helpful. I'll definitely look through the chat for questions and try to answer them and get back to you. Contact me if I didn't address any questions or thoughts that you have on any future webinars that you'd like to see. If you're interested, I have a nutrition group on Viva Engage. And let's see here if I can pull that. There we go. On Viva Engage, all open to all Roping Group staff. Also a monthly nutrition newsletter where I ask questions, recipes, share the latest research, personal stories, book reviews, and more. Again, connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. If you're in Washington, D.C., please visit the IFC Wellness Center, where we're trying to create a space and program dedicated to improving the health and well-being of all staff. And those outside of DC will still be able to take advantage of the programming that will be offered. So please stay tuned on that. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. And yes, okay. Thank you. Take care.